Zolani, Matebese and Thabisile Senatla are the founders of a digital funeral planning app called Send Off. Before we went to that crossing, we were speaking about the funeral culture in South Africa, the amount of money that's spent there, and the large businesses and perhaps the smaller ones. If you can continue there.
Yeah, thanks. So, as I was saying, the funeral industry in South Africa, if you look at the figures from late 2018, early 19, it's a 13 billion rand market. So it's quite significant. You have a significant number of financial companies, you have burial companies, we don't know what they are. And I was saying, you even see some of the adverts on your channel. And so it's a huge market. Funerals are a cultural imperative in South Africa, but it's a market with a lot of broken processes and a lot of things happening that are not really in the best interest of the consumer. And so Sendoff is coming in. We are a consumer advocate, really there to make the process easier for the user and to basically be a better way for people to do a funeral.
Mm-hmm. You speak about the large businesses that are quite pervasive, that probably have a large share of the funeral business in South Africa. I would imagine they're not just with you, but with other smaller players. That is quite a difficult space to get into because there's a reason that business is established and has been successful and has so much market share so far.
I think it's not necessarily difficult to get into it. I mean, you know, the burial practices specifically. I mean, Joe Blogs can open up a funeral parlor tomorrow, literally rent a shop front, you know, and go through with a couple of caskets and they sell them. We see this happening. So there's a lot of informal practices in the industry. What we're trying to do is to break into the formal aspect and to ensure that we really help our users to work with reputable companies that will do, you know, what they say they'll do, and try and find a way of reducing some of the horror stories that you find in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Thabisile, if you could just explain to me the process of if I pick up my phone, I'm bereaved, I'm trying to plan a funeral, what happens from this device?
All right, so what you essentially do is, of course, the first thing to download Send Off app on any of the mobile platform stores. And after you've downloaded it, you go into Send Off and then you select the services that you need. So, for example, if you want the entire package, because we've got different packages, we've got your silver, your gold. If you feel like you want a basic funeral, you go for the silver. You press on the button and then you check out. And that's basically it. But however, if you want a more customized service, so you go and pick out what services you need, what catering you need for how many people, when you need flowers. If, for example, the burial is taking place on Saturday, you can book your transport and then you can also book groceries, which will be delivered on Friday or even the Monday, because throughout the week, there's a lot of activities and there's a lot of people that are coming through.
Okay, anecdotally, I'm trying to also understand, we know that a lot of things are going digital. We've got services that you can clean your home, you can order transport, food and the like, and now you're also talking about a funeral plan. Access to data is always a problem that's spoken about in South Africa, lack of access to data, and you'd assume that with this culture of big funeral planning and a lack of access to data, there may be some problems with going fully digital or this, you know, growing beyond a certain sphere.
To an extent, but we've recognized that, and so when we designed the app, we designed the app first of all with user-first principles. So even if you look at the size, our app is about 2.5 megabytes compared to a number of apps which are in the hundreds. The footprint is really small on the phone. The footprint in data usage is really small because we encrypt and what we call compress a lot of the images and the data that's transferred over the links. So we have, as far as possible, tried to be sensitive to the fact that data is an issue. But as you said correctly, everything is moving to a digital platform now. And if you are really looking for a way to, perform a funeral and do all the related activities without all the additional hassle and costs incurred in doing that, then, we believe Sendoff is the best platform to do that.
Thank you both so much for your time on SABC News.